Hello, everybody. So I wanted to share my project life process. I don't really have any kind of structure when I do project life. I just like to kind of go through my cards and pick whatever color I feel for the week. So far, it's been tending to be a lot of teals and pinks, which is kind of funny. Um, so I don't have a lot of collections that really stay together. Excuse me. And I mix my project life cards and with my Scraptastic kit, as well as cutting my own from 6x6 paper pads. And I have a lot of fun doing that. I like my creativity to show through Project Life. I am going to be focusing mainly this year on Project Life, traditional scrapbooking, and doing some process videos. I enjoy watching process videos myself, and I just want to be able to do that for others as well. I've noticed that there's not many Project Life process videos, so I hope that there's a few of you out there that enjoy that. This process video took me over time maybe about a half an hour a day for 4 days, just uploading it to the computer and recording and now doing the narration. So what I do first is I go through all of the photos for the week. I tend to take maybe 20 photos. I want to tell little mini stories of what happened throughout the week. So for this week's spread, I have 6 stories I would like to tell. So I split them up, 3 stories per 12 by 12. I do print off multiple sizes because I'm not very structured. I like to be able to look at the photos and decide what I want in at the time. I don't want to plan too much. That's about the most of planning I do is this little scribbling on a post-it note, just so I kind of have an idea of which stories came first, and that's about it. Now the video is going to speed up here, and it's going to start showing my process of laying out the different stories. So I picked the first 3 stories, and here I'm going through the cards that I chose. That one is from the Life Noted kit, kind of deciding where I want them. I decided to do a week in review for my title card, the main card, which is something I haven't done yet. I like to try new things. So here I like to shuffle around a lot of the photos. I like to keep the little stories together. I want to make sure that my husband's photos are not right on the pink. So I want to make sure that the pink and the blues are kind of getting moved around. I have a lot of fun in this part of the process. So here I noticed that the stories of my daughters was kind of out of place. So I wanted to move it over right underneath. I like to work on the stories as a whole so that they match well. So I'll take all of the photos that tell one story and just work on those in one little group, and then I'll move on to the next story. So I wanted to cut that photo down, and I needed to know what size it was just so that it would fit perfectly and show that that's funny. That is a picture of my daughter in bathing suit bottoms and mismatched socks, and her shoes are on backwards. She's only 3 years old, so she likes to dress herself. And I like to take a lot of pictures of the way she dresses herself. The 2 photos on the bottom are photos that I took right before I was leaving for work. My husband took the upper the upper left hand photo. And so I really wanted to include that because I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know if he posed her on the car like that, but I've got Bailey, the 5-year-old, inside the little car. That car hangs out on the inside of the house. I live in Washington. We get a lot of rain. She got that for Christmas. It has yet to go outside, so it stays in the house so far. I'm looking through those Ormolu little tabs, or those are by Caitlin Schaefer. I believe that those are only for the Scraptastic kit. And I wanted to cut the lovely little moments. And I found that that green scallop was clashing, so I cut that scallop off. Now I'm only going to want to embellish that upper 4x6 card. I'm done with the little 3x4s. I'm trying to add sequins to it, but I don't end up doing that. I've noticed that I've kind of over embellished on the past few weeks, and I kind of want to tone it down a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time. I just want to add just a little bit. I've noticed my scrapbook's starting to get very thick. So here I'm pulling a ton of ephemera out. That came in the Life Noted kit as well, and I don't have the bag with me, so I don't know what that ephemera pack is called, but it did come in the Life Noted February's kit. I do actually find quite a bit of this useful. I pulled a You Are So Fabulous banner, a teal arrow, a speech bubble that has love, that speech bubble there, and you'll see that in view in just a minute. I'll pull it down. And then I also pull some vellum, and I left those in the package. I find them in just a few minutes, where I pull a few vellum stars and a chevron heart. There we go. And those I'm going to kind of tuck in the side of the journaling speech bubble. I just love using those little ephemera. They're so fun. Okay, so I'm going to use my tiny attacher to adhere these little stars. I love the tiny attacher. It's very, very fast for adding embellishments. I don't think it was very expensive, maybe $10. And I bought one extra box of staples, and I use it a lot. And I still have a lot left. I like to double up on my staples just to make it kind of look like an extra little embellishment. Here I'm going to glue the sequins down, and I like to use my Glossy Accents. The Glossy Accents is amazing. Although it does clog very fast, I just clean it out with a little pin. I use the Glossy Accents on both sequins and wood veneers. It also makes a nice embellishment, or not really an embellishment, just kind of a nice little accent when you do like images, when you color images. I like to use it on those for shoes and glasses and things like that as well. It has kind of a raised glossy look to it. Okay, here I'm going to add that little banner. I didn't want to cut any of it off, so I made it the opposite orientation of the photo. I think it's very cute, and I am done with that. Other than the journaling, I really wanted to write quite a bit more, but I ran out of space, so that's fine as long as I had something on there. And I'm using the metallic teal writer that came in the Life Noted kit as well. Okay, so I'm going to use these little snap letters. Those came in the Life Noted Scraptastic kit. And I don't know what color they are. They don't give us a color. It's just kind of a bubblegum pink. I'm going to use that for the 5. And on this card, this is the first card explaining the week. I did write number 1 through 6, and I numbered them. And then I just kind of told about all of the different stories that happened throughout the week. I'm going to use my roller date stamp that was sent to me from Carol, One Happy Crafty Chick. I love it. I've used it every week so far. And I have to test the stamp, otherwise I end up doing it upside down. I don't want to get any ink on that 5, so I'm covering it with the Post-it note. And I noticed that I missed part of the F in February, so I just fill it in with my Smashbook pen. Worked just fine. Okay, and now I'm going to work on the photos of my husband crabbing. And those little crab, they don't make it into the layout. I figured a picture of my husband holding 2 of them would be just fine. So I really liked that darker navy with the teal stripes, and I just thought it was really neat. I didn't want to cover up too much of it, so I did cut the photo down just a little bit. And then I'm going to add this tab, and I add it with my tape runner, but I end up going back and adding Scotch quick dry adhesive because it just kept popping open. I'm going to add a little of those, a few of those little enamel dots, and those are Daily Flash Pop Drops by October Afternoon, and it is the Eggnog collection. or an eggnog. I don't know. Anyway, so I add a few of those. And here I found this little heart. It's a wood grain heart and it says happy. And I wanted to add that to the corner because he is very happy in that photo. He loves his crab. So here is my next story, and I'm talking about my daughter and how grown up I have noticed she has become in the last week. I don't know where this kid came from. She will be 17 in May, and she wanted to start dating a boy, which is something that she's never done before. So she's never really shown any interest in dating boys, so it was really kind of strange. I was like, who is this child? And then I got her report card and I was astonished. This was the first year since probably third grade she actually got some excellent grades and I was just amazed. So I really wanted to add that. I thought it was a very important event to add to my project life. So I wanted to add this wood veneer from the Scraptastic Life Noted kit and I love it off to the side there. I didn't want to add any journaling. That's why I added those um, enamel dots to the upper right hand corner of that last card. And here I'm showing the envelope that I made myself with my envelope punch, and it is paper is Dear Lizzie, the Fifth and Frolic, and I got that from Carla's Capamia, and I love it. So I thought it was really perfect for this. I'm going to add that little bow that came from Monica, and I thought it was the perfect embellishment. I love those little stickers that was sent to me. They're just perfect. So with that little envelope, I used a half a Velcro dot to kind of hold it closed. And inside, I put my daughter's grades and a little note to her, just telling her how proud I am of her, and kind of a mushy note. And then off to the right-hand side of that envelope, I added the movie stub ticket. And he asked her out that night, and they became boyfriend and girlfriend. So, of course, that worries me, but she is almost 17. So, now I'm using these little Pebbles alpha stickers. I'm going to add real and good at the top of that. So the title is going to be Real Dates and Good Grades. And then my journaling, I write, Who is this girl? And that's it for that story. Now I'm going to move on to page 2. And that, what I just showed you, the chevron, the rainbow chevron, that was also from the 6x6 Dear Lizzie. I just cut my own little 4x6. The two little 3x4s, I'm going to keep those plain. I'm just going to round the corners on those. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this little 4x6. And I am going to make this little card. It's kind of somewhat of a title card. And I am spelling out Super Bowl. We had a big Sunday with the Super Bowl and we stayed home. My husband had we had the father-in-law over, and we kind of wanted it to be, somewhat simple. We didn't want a big party, and my husband refused to go to any Super Bowl parties. He doesn't tend to like to be around a lot of people. Now, my grandmother, his grandmother, who I'm also going to be scrapbooking about, is a die-hard Seahawks fan. Win or lose, she is a big fan. So I was really excited about the fact that she got to watch them go to the Super Bowl and not only go, but win. That was something I was very excited about for her. So I had my husband go over to her house. She had the big Super Bowl party, of course. And I had my husband go over there during the halftime show and take a photo of her because I knew she'd be wearing her jersey. And I wanted to do a scrapbook layout for her. And I made it all navy blue, lime green, and white, and stars. And I don't have any more. I did add the photo already, and I gave it to her. I didn't feel it was really something that I wanted to share on YouTube. Not that it was personal, but that it was just so basic and plain. It really was just some matting and just some punched out stars. Really wasn't anything to it. So here I'm adding the score of the game, and I'm kind of doing this before I realized that I wanted to staple down those little alphas, so I'm going to end up pulling them up and redoing that anyway. But I noticed the upper left-hand corner is a little bit plain, so I'm going to cut some banners and staple those down. That's why I love the tiny attacher. It just takes 2 seconds to get something down where I don't have to constantly run my adhesive. And it saves on adhesive too. It's not very expensive. So as soon as I'm done stapling that, I remembered that I had wanted to staple those alphas. So here's where I'm going to take those alphas off and start stapling, and my stapler runs out. So I have to add more staples, and I come back. There we go. Finishing up. And because I didn't pull that 4 off, I had a staple kind of mess up on me. So, and here I'm trying to put the score backwards. My husband would not have forgiven me for that one. And so that one is finished. And I'm moving on now to, I'm going to round the corners of the photo of my husband and my father-in-law. And I'm using my Crop-A-Dile. Here I did not mean to go to make them so rounded, but I just went with it. I was trying to use the more narrow, I think the 1/4 inch rounding instead of the 1/2 inch round. So that little 3x4 card is a card from the Life Noted kit as well. These are all from the February kit. I didn't pull from any other month, although I do have some October, November, and December cards left. And it says you got this, and I'm talking about the fact that she got the game, we won the game. So I thought it was appropriate for that. So here I'm looking for some little tabs and things to go in the upper right hand corner of the photo, and to kind of add some more of that blue from that little starred banner that is in the upper left hand corner. That is actually on the 4x6, and so I wanted to bring in some more of that blue and teal. While I was looking for that, I saw this little stamp that actually came in the kit as well, and that is the Scraptastic stamp. Let me see, it's by Ormolu, and it says "for the win." So I go through my adhesives. I go through my stamp collection, or my stamp pads, and I don't have any navy, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp it in black. I have not stamped on any of my little inserts yet this year. I'm not much of a stamper when it comes to things like this, so I get very paranoid doing that, and I'm very scared here, but it turns out perfect, so thumbs up. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and add that little tab to the upper right hand corner, and I'm really trying to figure out a way to make that upper left hand corner of that little 3x4 card, you can really see it. It's got that white sharp edge, and I really kind of want to tone that down right above her head in the photo. So this is where I add some sequins, and I'm going to go ahead and glue those down also on the pink part underneath the "you got this." And I did journal just a little bit about the fact that she gets to see the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl, and I guess I'm cutting off right there. Okay, so now I am working on the bottom part. This is the end of it, and I loved this 4x6. It was my favorite of the entire February Life Noted kit. I was really excited to get this wood grain with a starburst, and so I used one of those little hearts that came in the Family Pack that Monica sent me, and I put that in the center. And then here I wanted to kind of keep it toned down, so this is where I pick colors that go with the starburst. So if it's a teal burst, I use a teal sequins. If it's a red burst, I use the red sequins, even though there was no red. But I took the sequins that went with the color, and that's what got glued there. So here I just decided to staple the wood veneer to the bathtub. If I didn't say already, I've already recorded this, so I may have already said that. I really wanted to write on the bathtub. That's why I took it at that angle. I loved the photo of my daughter with the ducks lined up, and she's looking at them, and then the next one she's playing with them. But I could not get a pen to not smudge other than the Sharpie, and it wasn't the point wasn't fine enough. Yeah. So I just stapled a little wood veneer there. And this next photo is just a real quick story talking about the fact that I wanted to capture the moment of one of my favorite um, views, and that is when I'm on the highway at night. I love seeing the lights coming at me, and all of the brake lights behind, or I'm sorry, all of the brake lights in front of me, on all the headlights coming at me. So I just journaled about that, and I titled it Chasing Cars. That song came on right when I was snapping that photo. It was just hilarious. So here I am just showing what the layout looks all together, and that is it. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.